Nephrologist warning. The worst drink that poisons and causes liver pain. You might be taking every possible measure to stay healthy and still be poisoning your liver without realizing it. Among all the silent threats that put this vital organ at risk, there is one drink in particular that specialists have identified as the most dangerous of all. It's consumed daily by millions of people. It's on tables, at gatherings, during leisure moments, and even in workplaces. But what no one tells you is that, behind its pleasant taste, it carries a mix of substances that slowly intoxicate the liver, cause abdominal pain, increase inflammation, and accelerate the development of liver diseases. And the most alarming part, this drink is destroying your health without showing any visible signs at first. That's why you need to watch this video with your full attention. Besides revealing which drink is considered the worst of all for your liver, you'll also discover other habits and foods that should be avoided to keep this organ functioning properly. Your body might be crying for help. And perhaps the first change begins in your glass. Number 8. Energy drinks. Energy drinks are often seen as allies of productivity, especially on busy days or sleepless nights. But what many ignore is the silent price these beverages demand from your body, particularly from your liver. Despite the marketing that promises instant energy, the contents of these products tell another story, one filled with chemical substances that overload your system and slowly undermine your health. Have you ever stopped to think about what you're actually putting into your body when you open one of those cans? One of the biggest traps in energy drinks lies in artificial sweeteners. Found in most sugar-free versions, these compounds are metabolized by the liver, which has to work overtime to neutralize them. This constant overload can alter liver function, leading to chronic fatigue and abdominal pain. To make matters worse, many of these sweeteners also negatively affect the gut microbiota, which harms nutrient absorption and intensifies the toxic impact. Another common ingredient in energy drinks is caffeine, in high doses, often combined with other stimulants such as taurine and guarana. While these substances may provide a short burst of mental alertness, they require considerable effort from the liver to be metabolized. Over time, this extra strain can lead to inflammation and even damage liver cells. Additionally, the combination of caffeine with sugar or artificial sweeteners increases oxidative stress inside the liver, accelerating the organ's deterioration. Energy drinks also contain synthetic dyes and preservatives such as sodium benzoate, which are known to be toxic to the liver when consumed frequently. These additives not only impair the liver's ability to regenerate, but also interfere with the production of enzymes that help digestion and detoxification. This ongoing chemical interference can trigger persistent abdominal pain, bloating, and general malaise, warning signs that something isn't right. For people who already have some degree of liver sensitivity or a family history of liver disease, consuming energy drinks can be especially dangerous. They worsen cases of fatty liver and fibrosis, even indirectly, and make it harder for the organ to recover from mild inflammation. That's why, even if your consumption seems occasional or harmless, the cumulative damage over months can be significant and irreversible. If you feel pain on the right side of your abdomen, constant fatigue, or difficulty digesting fatty foods, it's worth checking if energy drinks are part of your routine. Maybe your body is crying for help, and the first step is to stop relying on these drinks. Replacing them with water, herbal teas, or sugar-free natural juices is a safe and effective way to ease your liver's burden and regain vitality. Number 7. Fast food. Fast food may seem like a convenient solution for busy days, but it's one of the liver's worst enemies. Behind the intense flavors and affordable prices are ultra-processed ingredients that slowly intoxicate the body and overload this vital organ. Burgers, fries, frozen pizzas, and other products typical of this category form a dangerous combination of bad fats, chemical additives, and empty calories. And when consumed frequently, the results can be devastating. These foods are usually prepared with low-quality oils, reused and highly oxidized, that increase inflammation in the body. The liver, responsible for filtering these substances, becomes overloaded and loses its regenerative capacity. Over time, this leads to fat buildup in liver cells, a condition known as fatty liver disease, hepatic steatosis. Have you ever thought about how many times you've eaten fast food without realizing the silent damage it causes? Besides the fats, fast food is loaded with excess salt and sugar, a double hit to liver function. Too much sodium disrupts the body's water balance and can cause fluid retention and abdominal bloating, while refined sugar is converted into fat inside the liver. This accumulated fat directly interferes with enzyme production and metabolism, leading to fatigue and difficulty eliminating toxins. Another problem with fast food is the presence of preservatives, stabilizers, and artificial colorings, all metabolized by the liver. These substances, though legally allowed, are far from harmless. They force the organ to work harder to neutralize them, which increases oxidative stress. Over time, this overload can cause abdominal pain, abnormal liver test results, and a higher risk of serious liver diseases such as cirrhosis. People who regularly eat fast food also tend to have higher cholesterol and triglyceride levels, which further harm liver health. These excess lipids clog the liver's blood vessels, impair oxygen and nutrient delivery, and create a favorable environment for inflammation. Often, the symptoms are silent, going unnoticed until the condition has already advanced. Fortunately, cutting back on fast food can bring almost immediate improvements to your liver. Replacing those meals with homemade dishes made from fresh, whole, natural ingredients is a key step toward restoring liver function. You don't have to be radical. Small changes, such as avoiding industrial sauces and ready-made fried foods, already make a big difference. Your liver is a resilient organ, but even it has its limits, and fast food is one of the quickest ways to reach them. Number 6. Margarine. Margarine is often marketed as a healthy alternative to butter, but that reputation doesn't hold up when it comes to liver health. Made from hydrogenated vegetable oils, margarine is one of the main sources of trans fats, an artificial fat that the body doesn't recognize and struggles to process. The liver, responsible for filtering and metabolizing these substances, is one of the first organs to suffer from the negative effects of continuous margarine consumption. The trans fats in margarine are extremely inflammatory and promote fat accumulation in the liver. This process triggers fatty liver disease, which can eventually progress to more serious inflammation or even fibrosis. When the liver is inflamed, its ability to perform essential functions such as detoxifying the blood, producing bile, and metabolizing hormones becomes compromised. Have you ever wondered why, even when eating normally, you feel bloated and fatigued? It could be your overworked liver struggling to deal with excess margarine and other processed foods. Another issue with margarine is its impact on cholesterol. It raises LDL bad cholesterol and lowers HDL good cholesterol. This imbalance directly affects blood circulation within the liver, reducing oxygen and nutrient supply to liver cells. The lack of oxygen contributes to progressive tissue degeneration, making the organ more vulnerable to damage. The result may be abdominal pain, loss of energy, and a higher risk of silent liver diseases. Besides trans fats, margarine contains several chemical additives, such as colorings and preservatives, that also need to be metabolized. That means extra work for your liver every day, especially with frequent consumption. Even small daily amounts, like spreading it on toast every morning, can have cumulative harmful effects over the years. The most alarming part is that these damages often develop silently, showing no obvious symptoms until the condition becomes serious. For those looking for healthier alternatives, replacing margarine with good fats is one of the smartest choices you can make. Extra virgin olive oil, mashed avocado, or even real butter in moderation are options with real benefits and less strain on the liver. The key is to remember that balance and natural foods make all the difference when it comes to liver health. Eliminating or reducing margarine is a simple yet powerful step to protect your liver. And when you realize how small dietary swaps can make a big impact, you start building a lighter, cleaner, and much more body-friendly way of eating. Your liver will thank you, and so will the rest of your body. Number 5. White sugar. White sugar is one of the most common ingredients in modern diets, and one of the most dangerous for the liver. Despite its sweet taste and instant pleasure, it's a true hidden enemy of liver health. When consumed in excess, this simple sugar is rapidly turned into fat by the liver, which can cause inflammation, abdominal pain, and, over time, lead to fatty liver disease. Have you ever thought about how many times a day you consume sugar without noticing? The liver's job is to metabolize the fructose found in refined sugar. The problem is that, unlike glucose, which can be used by nearly all the body's cells, fructose can only be processed by the liver. In large amounts, it overwhelms the organ, which converts the excess into fat. That fat builds up inside liver cells, triggering a silent but progressive inflammatory process. Over time, this accumulation can cause chronic fatigue, pain in the right side of the abdomen, and digestive issues. Moreover, white sugar contributes to insulin resistance, a risk factor not only for diabetes, but also for liver diseases. When the body becomes resistant to insulin, the liver begins to store even more fat. It's a vicious cycle: more sugar, more insulin, more liver fat. This process also disrupts metabolism, making it harder to lose weight and causing energy spikes followed by crashes, which create even stronger cravings for sweets. Another alarming point is the amount of hidden sugar in everyday foods. It's not just desserts or soda that are dangerous. Many so-called healthy products like flavored yogurts, packaged sauces, and cereal bars contain refined sugar. Continuous intake, even in small amounts, has a cumulative effect that harms the liver over time. That's why it's crucial to read labels and rethink eating habits. The good news is that the body can regenerate when habits are corrected. Reducing or eliminating white sugar from your diet is one of the best decisions you can make to protect your liver. Replacing it with natural sources like fresh fruits or less aggressive sweeteners like stevia and erythritol can be a healthy, sustainable path. Small daily changes can prevent major health issues in the future. If you experience bloating, abdominal pain, or frequent fatigue, it's worth considering whether sugar might be behind those signs. The liver is a silent organ. It doesn't complain easily. But when it finally cries for help, the damage might already be advanced. Avoiding refined sugar, therefore, isn't just a dietary choice. It's a preventive act of care for your body. Number 4. Processed meats. Processed meats, such as sausages, ham, hot dogs, and bacon are extremely common in modern diets, especially in snacks, breakfasts, and quick meals. However, their frequent consumption poses a direct threat to liver health. These industrialized products contain a series of chemical additives such as nitrites, nitrates, preservatives, and flavor enhancers that need to be processed and eliminated by the liver. This ongoing effort intoxicates the organ, compromises its functions, and promotes the development of silent and progressive liver diseases. These chemical additives not only overload the liver, but also contribute to the formation of carcinogenic compounds during digestion. Among them, nitrosamines are particularly concerning, as they are linked to cell damage and liver inflammation. When ingested regularly, these elements cause oxidative stress, hinder the regeneration of liver cells, and increase the risk of fibrosis, a condition in which the liver is slowly replaced by scar tissue. Just imagine the impact of that after years of daily consumption of these meats. Another alarming factor about processed meats is their high sodium content. A single serving can contain more than the recommended amount for the entire day. This excess salt contributes to fluid retention and elevated blood pressure, further straining the liver and cardiovascular system. The buildup of sodium in the body also makes it harder to eliminate toxins and disrupts fluid balance, which can intensify symptoms like bloating, fatigue, and abdominal discomfort. For those already suffering from fatty liver disease, this type of food is like throwing gasoline on a fire. In addition, processed meats are often rich in low-quality saturated fats, which directly contribute to fat accumulation in the liver. This combination of bad fat and chemical additives makes these foods extremely inflammatory. Over time, this kind of diet leads to impaired liver function, hinders the production of essential enzymes, and disrupts the metabolism of hormones and nutrients. It's a slow but devastating process. People often choose these meats for convenience and taste, unaware of the price their liver is paying. Replacing them with healthier options such as fresh meats, free-range eggs, or legumes can make a huge difference. These foods provide high-quality protein without the toxic additives found in processed products. And the change doesn't have to be radical. Small swaps in daily meals already ease the liver's toxic load. Avoiding processed meats isn't just a recommendation for those who already have liver problems, it's a fundamental preventive action. Every meal is an opportunity to support or harm your liver. By choosing more natural and less processed foods, you're giving your body a chance to function better, with more energy and less pain. Your liver feels every choice you make on your plate, even if you don't notice. Number 3. Fried foods. Fried foods hold a special place in many people's tastes, but they're among the liver's worst enemies. Pastries, French fries, fried snacks, breaded foods, and countless others immersed in hot oil carry a set of invisible threats. When consumed frequently, these foods cause chronic inflammation in the liver, hinder digestion, and promote the accumulation of fat in the liver. The most dangerous part is that the effects are not always immediate. They silently build up until the body begins to show signs of exhaustion. The problem starts with the type of fat used in frying. Most establishments use refined vegetable oils that, when repeatedly heated, degrade and form toxic compounds. These byproducts, such as acrolein, are extremely aggressive to the liver, forcing it to work harder to neutralize them. This constant effort creates oxidative stress, reduces the organ's ability to regenerate, and impairs its natural functions. Have you ever felt heavy or nauseous after eating fried food? Your liver feels it even more. Another critical point about fried foods is their high trans fat content, an artificial fat created through hydrogenation. These fats not only increase bad cholesterol, LDL, but also reduce good cholesterol, HDL, and inflame liver tissue. When consumed regularly, they directly contribute to the development of fatty liver disease and hinder the action of digestive enzymes. The liver, already overworked, begins to function inefficiently, which affects the entire digestive and immune systems. In addition to the fats, fried foods typically contain white flour and other ultra-processed ingredients that worsen the situation. This combination results in slower digestion, requiring more effort from the liver to metabolize the compounds involved. Over time, this causes constant inflammation that not only affects the liver, but also increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases and metabolic disorders. For those who already have liver dysfunction, this type of diet is particularly dangerous. We also can't ignore the relationship between fried foods and insulin resistance. By triggering frequent spikes in blood sugar and insulin, this kind of food disrupts liver metabolism and promotes fat buildup in liver cells. This can lead to symptoms such as fatigue, abdominal pain, and abnormal liver test results. It's a self-feeding cycle. The more fried food you eat, the more fat accumulates in your liver, slowing your metabolism and worsening your health. But there are alternatives. Replacing fried foods with baked, grilled, or air-fried preparations drastically reduces their impact on the liver. Using more stable oils at low temperatures, such as coconut oil or olive oil, is also a good choice. And most importantly, avoid reusing the same oil, especially at home, where leftover grease from previous preparations is often used again. Number 2. Alcohol. Alcohol is, without a doubt, one of the most toxic substances for the liver, even in small amounts. Although it's socially associated with leisure and relaxation, the truth is that every sip represents a biochemical challenge for this vital organ. This happens because the liver is primarily responsible for metabolizing alcohol and eliminating its toxins. But this process comes at a high cost. It damages liver cells, causes inflammation, and can lead to serious diseases such as alcoholic hepatitis, cirrhosis, and even liver cancer. When alcohol enters the body, the liver converts it into 𝘿𝙤𝙀𝙧, an extremely toxic substance that damages cells and triggers immediate inflammation. Then the organ must convert this compound into acetate, a less harmful form. However, the greater the intake and the shorter the interval between drinks, the longer 𝘿𝙤𝙀𝙀 stays in the body, causing cumulative damage. Even people who drink moderately, but frequently, are subjecting their liver to a continuous cycle of injury and repair that, over time, can become irreversible. One of the most common signs that the liver is suffering from alcohol is pain in the right side of the abdomen, persistent fatigue, and bloating. These symptoms, though subtle at first, indicate that the organ is inflamed and overloaded. What few people realize is that alcohol's negative effects aren't limited to heavy drinkers. Studies show that even social consumption, such as a glass of wine a day, can, over time, increase the risk of liver fibrosis in people with genetic predisposition or poor diet. Another significant impact of alcohol is its interference with fat and sugar metabolism. It disrupts the liver's normal metabolic functions, promoting the accumulation of fat in liver cells and directly contributing to fatty liver disease. This type of internal fat, unlike the one under the skin, is extremely inflammatory and dangerous. It not only causes pain and discomfort, but also blocks vital liver functions, such as the production of essential proteins for the body. Moreover, alcohol hinders the liver's natural regeneration. Even though it's an organ with great recovery capacity, continuous consumption prevents this process, accelerating tissue degeneration. For people with a history of liver disease or whose liver is already weakened by other factors, such as obesity or poor diet, alcohol becomes even more dangerous, acting as a true silent poison. The good news is that alcohol-related damage can be reversed, especially if consumption stops before the liver reaches advanced stages of deterioration. Reducing or completely eliminating alcoholic beverages is one of the most direct and effective ways to preserve liver health. Your liver works every day to cleanse your body, and perhaps the greatest gift you can give it is to let it rest from alcohol. Number 1. Soda. Among all beverages harmful to the liver, soda ranks as the most dangerous. That's because it combines in a single glass a toxic mix of refined sugar, corn syrup, caffeine, coloring, and chemical additives, all processed by the liver. This chemical overload forces the organ to work continuously, and over time, it starts failing in its vital functions. What seems like a refreshing, harmless drink can actually trigger silent and progressive liver diseases, such as fatty liver. The main villain in sodas is sugar, or worse, high-fructose corn syrup, present in many formulas. This type of sugar is metabolized exclusively by the liver and, when consumed in excess, is quickly turned into fat. This fat buildup inside liver cells triggers inflammation, pain, and structural changes in the organ. It's the first step toward fatty liver, which can progress to more severe conditions such as fibrosis and, in extreme cases, cirrhosis. But it's not just the sugar that's concerning. Diet or sugar-free sodas are also risky. The artificial sweeteners used in these versions, such as aspartame and sucralose, are substances that must be filtered by the liver, and evidence shows that their frequent consumption harms gut microbiota and worsens liver inflammation. The belief that sugar-free versions are safer is actually a myth that hides their real impact on the body. In addition to sweeteners, sodas contain chemical additives like acidulants, preservatives, and colorants, which further increase the toxic load processed by the liver. Caramel coloring, for example, is associated with carcinogenic compounds when consumed regularly. The continuous presence of these substances in the body forces the liver to remain in a constant state of alert, reducing its regeneration capacity and increasing the risk of cell damage. Another serious impact of sodas lies in the metabolic imbalance they cause. Their consumption is linked to insulin resistance, abdominal weight gain, chronic inflammation, and altered lipid profiles, all factors that directly affect liver health. Even 1 can a day may be enough to start this destructive process, especially when combined with other poor eating habits. Reducing or eliminating soda from your routine can be a turning point in your health. Choosing lemon water, herbal teas, or unsweetened juices is a simple and effective way to ease the liver's burden. The change may seem hard at first, but the benefits come quickly. More energy, lighter digestion, reduced abdominal bloating, and better liver test results. Soda may seem harmless, but your liver feels and suffers with every sip. If you want to keep receiving the best videos for your health, subscribe to the channel, because it exists for one reason only: to make you a healthier person with a better quality of life. Helping you is my mission. In the video now appearing on your screen, the hidden vitamin that clears blocked veins on the face, click the screen and check it out.